All right, we are here with the after show for David versus Kent about fossils. We are starting a little bit early. Let's see. We have on the panel me, the Dapper Dinosaur, Benthoven, no relation. I noticed that James didn't bother to read your last name there, Benthoven.
No, he did not, but I can understand why.
Yeah.
Rude.
All right. We have TD Lane. We have the debater himself, Kakarot, or David, as he was known in the debate. We also have the Goblin Queen herself, Cheshire Vic.
Hello.
And we have Erica, the Gutsick Gibbon. RJ is waiting in the background. He has been having some technical difficulties, and also I think two of our current panel members may be not sticking around too long. So I will bring him in as soon as we can, because I'm limited to 6 people because I'm not paying StreamYard. So I don't know. All right, so which name would you want to go by, David or Kakarot?
Either one, whatever you like.
Or we'll go with David, since that's how you were identified in the debate. I think that's reasonably fair. So, David, let's get your quick impressions of the debate, and then we'll go on to the other panel members, and hopefully RJ can come in.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yes.
I totally fucked up about the trees. I don't really remember exactly the technicalities about those lycopods, or whatever you call them, those polystrata fossils that he mentioned. Forgot about that. But I didn't get to show like Homo erectus or habilis. I had those slides available, and I was hoping to get to erectus because that's another good, transition. It's, especially Java Man, Peking Man. Some creators will say that's just an ape, and then another will say it's just a human. So, and you can't tell them apart. What is that indication that, it's in transition? So, I wish I had gotten to those. But I had a lot of fun. This was my first debate, too. So, I've been watching Ken, debates, especially his debate with Aaron. That was probably the most entertaining.
The non sequitur show?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was...
you, Erica, and Professor Dave. So that was... those were really interesting. And he still repeats the same thing, especially about the rocks. He'll never... stop using that.
But hey, have you seen my debate with him?
I've seen it where you go over. Was it the one where you debate whether or not birds are a subset of dinosaurs or something?
It is. That? Yep. And Kent was entirely unprepared to even understand the argument, let alone address it. But all right, I want to get a debate impression from Bent because he is next up.
It seemed like Kent Hovind was in his rare form of literally giving every argument that's ever been already shown wrong to him, just over and over and over again. And unfortunately, though, David, it was anytime you started talking, it seemed like he was just interrupting you. He must have had at least 70% of the time talking, which was quite unfortunate because, you were right and you were making good points. And then he was just making straw man arguments and interrupting and kind of wish he gave a little more a little more aggressive with that, I guess. I don't know.
Me too.
Hey, that's the thing that he's complaining about in the Aaron debate, that he didn't get enough time.
Yeah.
It can be hard with Kent. Like, I would never try to debate him because he would do the same thing to me, and I just wouldn't be able to do anything about it. My favorite part of the debate, though, was when my super chat was read. And I'm going to reread the question.
Okay.
So let's say you found a skeleton. How would you tell if it's a dinosaur? You personally, how would you decide? And the reason I asked Kent Hovind that question in that exact phrasing is because when Dapper debated him, he said word for word that question sometime in the middle of the debate. And Kent's response was he was just baffled by it. Interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that. That was almost a year ago, and I was wondering if Kent had actually done any research on that debate. And
apparently
it seems like he did enough research to actually try to answer, even though he was answering some straw man. I'm not really sure. And I want to watch that clip of what he actually said a bunch of times and take notes on it and all that to figure out what he was talking about. But he seemed. You would think someone who calls himself Dr. Dino would have a clue. Like, I would have thought about that question before, maybe once. And also, I don't know exactly where it is, but there was a debate with King Crocoduck. I think it's in part 3, where Kent Hovind admits that there's a fossil record. He doesn't say, "Oh, I know there's a fossil record," but he's describing the fossil record, and he uses the term fossil record in his long rant. And I wish I could find that and show that, because that's kind of like a checkmate for Kent.
Yeah, it would be a cool clip to have. All right, let's get T.D. Lane's impression.
Kent's a moron still. Big surprise. He said a lot of dumb shit and not much intelligence. What stuck out to me was obviously his continued use of debunked arguments, as Bent mentioned. Him saying that all the mountain ranges follow the coastline, which is complete bunkdom, because here in North America alone, there's the Rockies, which don't follow a coastline. There's the Urals in Siberia, which are a clear mountain range. It's like, oh, look, there's no ocean to anywhere but north.
So real quick, I want to get something addressed, because apparently there was a super chat that James didn't get to or something, and it was for David. And this is one that Jerry Hotep says that he asked, and he wanted to know if, David, were you required to give your educational background to Kent before he would debate you?
That's a funny question,
so.
and I know why.
Yeah, I remember his secretary describing in an email, like giving your credentials, and I don't have any science degrees. I mean, I have a bachelor's degree in economics. I'm getting my MBA, so I'm more of a business route. So no science. But that was still. But he still agreed to do it. So.
Do you feel like you were more likely to get the debate with Kent because you had a degree in something that we weren't discussing?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. It's like, yeah, the guy. It's like, this is a business guy. He didn't know what the hell he's talking about,
So one of the reasons that this is amusing is that Erica and I both tried to set up a debate with Kent as a joint thing, because we both debated him on our own independently, and we thought it would be fun.
Keep in mind, that's because Kent has so frequently said that, I can debate any evolutionist who'll pack my brain tied behind my back. Send your whole legion of professors my way.
And both said to both of us, let's do this again.
Yeah, and so we were like, we messaged him. Well, Dapper took it. Keep in mind, he was switching secretaries, and we all miss Rhonda. We don't get Rhonda anymore. Rhonda's out.
Yeah.
This other one is in. And I'm personally not a fan of the whole first last name deal. I'm not looking to be doxxed by Dr. Dino.
Yeah, so he wanted to have.
He totally would too.
I've seen him dox people on screen before. So there's actually a video that I'm going to ask. Atheist Junior is one of my viewers, and he has some really nice Kent Hovind clips, including several where he either attempts to or does dox people. And I'm going to ask him if there's any chance that I can take a few snippets out of that next time I see him around, because I would like to be able to demonstrate that. But anyway, when Erica and I sent our challenge, or I guess technically when I sent it for us, but I mean we both were thinking about exactly what we wanted to do. This is a very collaborative effort. The thing I got back was that he wanted to know exactly what the topic was, exactly what sources were going to be used, exactly what my position was, exactly what our first and last name was, a picture of our actual selves, and both of our phone numbers.
Oh God. Okay, so I can understand wanting sources ahead of time. That's pretty standard. That's pretty standard, normal things. You don't want to waste your time talking to somebody who legitimately doesn't know. It's not that weird in debates.
Although Kent asking for it is a little weird.
Well, I mean, it's not like he's gonna read it anyway, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. Yeah.
But but like that's not having sources ahead of time and having the debate topic actually nailed down. Those are standard things.
Yeah, those are fine. That's why I gave those things.
And your names and your pictures and your phone numbers. Like what?
Yeah, no.
This is an internet debate. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kent is he's got that, no offense to boomers out there, but he's got that very boomer-esque trait where like the idea of using a username is just gross to him. And so he just wants real names for, I don't know, the old man reasons.
That would be fine if he didn't abuse the information.
No, which he most certainly does. It's two birds, one stone with him.
Yeah, I lost any sense of being willing to trust Kent Hovind with any information that I wouldn't just publicly plaster on my YouTube channel. Basically, during my debate with him, which is like my 4th ever video on this channel anyway, and he had asked me before the debate in a private phone call we were having, trying to set up details. Because Kent Hovind likes to go in and start arguing when he's on the phone. I don't know why. I feel like he's just wasting his own time because no one's going to hear it. But hey, that's not my thing to say.
He can't help it.
I know. But in the whole thing, he starts going into the whole I think you're going to be in trouble on Judgment Day. And so I said to him, look, if you want me to go into my religious positions, I'll do it right now on the phone, as long as religious positions don't become a topic of discussion in the debate.
Right.
Which is something he agreed to and something I reminded him of in the pre-show. Well, that's how we ended the debate, was going right back into the "you're gonna go to hell, son."
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's just
Yeah, that's one of the things that once we're doing non sequitur again, we very much do not want to be bringing things. I don't like people preaching. I don't mind talking about and discussing your opinion or your position, but I don't like it when people preach. I don't like it when atheists do it. I don't like it when an evolutionist does it. I don't like it when pastors or religious people do it. Nice picture. I'm not keen on that because that's not what anybody's here for. If you have your own platform for that, you don't use other people's to do it.
Oh, Chesh, the real non sequitur show is here. Hello.
My love, my darling, my beautiful, I'm coming for you.
Yay again.
You will be in my arms soon.
Oh, and the real non sequitur show says, Chesh, you're not on camera. I wonder why. It's so that I don't get porn bombed just like Team Skeptic did.
Yeah, that's the reason.
That's the reason.
Oh no. This is gonna go around so much that people are gonna start thinking it's real.
I mean, it's real in a way.
There already are people who think it's real.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, listen. I didn't actually put that video I didn't put the image up. Team put the image up. So funny. So funny.
Oh man.
I couldn't ask for a better way to kill 4 hours worth of stream work.
Yeah, so in case anyone doesn't know, Team Skeptic's stream with Cheshire was taken down after he showed a picture of 7 circles arranged approximately in the shape of breasts, and apparently that was enough for YouTube to say, nope, shut it down.
In MS
done. Yes. So apparently that's all it takes, guys. So
this is while they're still just almost blatant, very niche, kinky, business going on with mukbang or whatever.
Oh, you don't even have to go that far. Just look at the thumbnails on Jake Paul's video.
Yeah, you don't have to go that far. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, but the difference is that YouTube makes a lot more money on Jake Paul.
Yeah, that is true, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's amazing. If I have a problem with my YouTube channel, or if any of us do, YouTube's just not going to get back to us. But the instant a few people get their accounts suspended on a Markiplier stream, the actual CEO of YouTube goes and has an in-person meeting with Markiplier. And this is never going to happen again. I'm so sorry.
I actually got members set up on mine now. I'm waiting for it to get approved.
I don't even know how to get that. I don't even see where the thing is.
It's under monetization. So if you click monetization, and there's 2 spots there's 3 spots. There's monetizing your channel, there's super chats, and then there's membership.
Okay.
If you click membership when you're available, it'll just take you to the setup page. It
Got
takes
it.
a little bit of time to set up though.
Yeah, before I do it, I want to have, like good emojis and whatnot.
I already have mine ready because of course I do. One
Well,
is a
of course.
screeching goblin, one is Puck, one is the Fug,
Aw, Puck.
like an angry looking paper bag, and one is the smug, Steve smug face.
I feel like the first one I'm gonna get is just gonna have to be like the one for like the people who just joined. It's gonna have to be like a Kent Hovind and a dunce hat, and then like the next one up is gonna have to be some kind of drink, so that when we do Kent with Bent, people can put in the drinking emoji or Kent is an idiot emoji.
That's a good idea.
David, have you ever seen a Kent with Bent episode?
No.
Oh, so it's it is our weekly. So Benthoven and I, who's no relation, by the way,
No relation.
no relation.
Don't sue me.
not that we never call Kent Uncle Kent for his sake.
Uncle Kent, no relation.
Yes. But anyway, so on Tuesdays we do this thing where we go live and we watch some Kent Hovind thing. Usually not a debate, just because the flow is sort of off. We don't get to pause as much because whenever his debater is talking, we're usually just like, all right, yeah, that's fair. And we just have to let it go. So usually it's things like his seminars or things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And, but this grew out of Bent Hovind and I watching Kent Hovind videos to make fun of in our off time before the channel even started. And so then one day it was just like, hey, let's just do it live for people who might want to watch it. And so now, let's see. Well, Erica, you said that the only 2 times you were drunk during quarantine was when you were hanging out with me doing similar live streams.
That's the thing. In the UK, it was, I was sort of by myself, so I could drink with my friends, whatever. But now I'm in the middle of a Midwestern state, which is essentially a dry dead zone as far as friends and alcohol goes for me, anyways. So I use Eric with Erica and Kent with Bent to fill the alcoholic void. And my mom was actually like, "Are you really just getting drunk with your friends on the internet?" And I was like, "Maybe that's all there is to do."
By the way, for $2 from Anamorphic Mind, thank you very much for your super chat. We have "Don't Let Cheshire Draw Bubes."
Oh, hey, Anamorphic Mind, how you doing? They were there that night. They saw it all.
Oh, you scarred Anamorphic's mind.
Apparently.
So I have a question for David. Which of Kent's arguments tonight did you find to be most grating?
Ooh.
Grating? What do you mean?
Like a cheese grater.
Infuriating.
It's frustrating. Yeah.
Oh, probably the most annoying thing that he would do would probably be like at the very end, like he said something like, "Oh, if evolution is true, where's right and wrong?" Or where do we get right and... Yeah, it's like where he goes, like he tries to create a false dichotomy where you have to, accept, or you have to be an atheist or whatever to accept science. That's probably the most irritating thing he does. And that's probably it. Yeah.
No, that checks out. Did any of you guys notice? I was screaming in chat about this. I was like banging my hands on. Kent goes. He's talking. So the concept of polystrate fossils comes up, right? And it's like,
that one I fucked up on. I'm sorry.
No, hey, don't apologize to me. That's it's. I can definitely attest to whenever you're speaking outside your field, whatever that field may be, like you're just prone to not knowing it off the top of your head. That's just the limits of knowledge in general and what we can do with the time that we have as far as preparing goes. Because Kent has this book, this thick, essentially full of just anecdotal little isms that he tosses out there, and you never know which one you're going to get. He pulls them out at random. We've heard them all before, mind you, but the combination changes. It's like the 52 shuffling deck of cards, right? It's like every single Hovind debate. The order is unique, but it's all. But yeah, he's talking about the polystrate fossils. And all of his supporters in chat are like, yes, polystrate fossils. Where is the evolutionist's answer for this? And everyone, of course, who is not an idiot in chat is like, and I mean this, not in a they're not idiots, they're just uninformed. But is like, well, it's very interesting that we tend to find these polystrate fossils in paleo environments that are subject to frequent flooding. No one has ever said that local catastrophes don't happen. Then, 45 minutes later in the debate, Hovind starts talking about Mount St. Helens and how they're finding vertical tree trunks in Mount St. Helens as if that's support for the flood, when it's just literally what everyone else has been saying for decades and decades and decades. That localized catastrophes result in polystrate fossils.
Can I push back on Erica a little bit that nobody says that natural disasters and catastrophic events don't happen because you don't talk to enough flat earthers?
Oh, fair.
She's not fair enough. No.
The one I did talk to scarred me for life. You know,
God.
I'm traumatized.
Have you seen that one, Shesh?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you had to see that.
Oh, have you seen that?
Let's not talk about globe head there.
The globe heads.
We've got somebody named Kakarot in the chat. How do you feel about one of the flat earthers saying that Dragon Ball Z is an allegory for just biblical stories?
What?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, you could say that. Like if you're talking about like Jesus, or like what kind of biblical story?
Yeah, exactly. Good question. Next question.
The problem I see is like, okay, look, the Bible has so many stories in it that you pick a plot line, you can probably find some similarities to something that's happened in the Bible. It's sort of like it's like the whole thing. Shakespeare wrote all the plots. It's like, well, no, he just wrote so many plots that if you write a plot, chances are it's going to have some similarity to something he wrote.
People are only so creative, you know?
Essentially completely negated all, like, this person was basically making the argument that all religions are the same religion and all stories are essentially the same story, and like to the point that it was just, you know, like, what's it called, Journey to the West is a thing and other cultures kind of come from other places and have their own lore. It was bizarre.
Sounds like it.
I mean, you can say that there are certain tropes that pop up a lot in human storytelling.
Oh yeah.
But to make some kind of big connection, and plus, I'm just going to go out there and say that as a general rule, Japanese media does not rely heavily on its themes or plot lines on various religions that are largely unknown in the country. There's some exceptions. But usually when they do it, they do it for explicit exoticism, right? Like there are a few animes that have used a lot of like Catholic imagery, but it's specifically because it's weird in Japan. It's the same reason that people in the United States watch things like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and it's like, oh, look at all that weird Hindu stuff. It's like, yeah, because it's exotic for you. So other than that, yeah, the Japanese don't tend to do a lot of stuff about like, oh, we're going to send a secret message about Jesus in a cartoon. Like, no.
So yeah, you could like make the argument for like any superhero, you know? I mean,
yep.
Especially Darkwing Duck.
Especially
LDW, Darkwing Duck.
Deadpool, obviously. Most Christian anti-hero.
Absolutely.
You guys are sleeping on Spider-Man villain Big Wheel.
Also, we do have from Leda Lumo who mentions that The Hero with a Thousand Faces by Campbell, which, I mean, there's something to be said about that, right? Like there is this consistent hero's journey thing that gets portrayed in a lot of like stories from a lot of cultures. But then again, if you look at the hero's journey, it's very generic in outline. So
it's almost like people like an underdog coming of age tale, like across cultures. Isn't that strange?
Bizarre.
Maybe humans share some kind of biological traits that affect their psychology in ways that make them like similar stories.
Or maybe Jung was right and the collective unconsciousness reigns over us all.
I don't even know how you would test that.
Jung is a wacko in a lot of ways.
Yes.
We can hope.
Well, a lot of those early psychologists were basically just making shit up on the fly and then going with it.
Yeah, no, true. Especially Freud. Especially Freud.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Isn't that how most things start anyway? It's like you just gotta try something and go with it and see what happens.
I mean, physics started that way, basically. The Greeks were just like, hey, let's just make up some stuff that sounds cool about physics. And then
if you've seen Dr. Stone, all science is based on trial and error, essentially.
I buy that.
Oh, and we have for $1.99 from Vandalia 1998. Did the guest kick Kent's butt? Let's see. Let's vote. I'm going to stay out of it because I am the host. So also that would make it an even number. So I don't want that. So Bent, did the guest kick Kent's butt?
It was close
No.
because the guest was right, and Kent did so bad, but Kent just dominated the time of possession, if you will. But I'm gonna say yes, because if you just look at the arguments presented, yeah, Kakarot definitely won.
Okay, TD Lane.
Looking at just the arguments presented, Kakarot definitely won.
Mm-hmm.
In debate time, Kent obviously had a monopoly on that.
Oh, yeah.
Kent very much was aggressive and took advantage of time, and yeah, I would say on the science, Kakarot won, on arguing the science, but as far as in a debate manner, he did not do terribly well.
Yeah, I did really crappy.
Well, I guess we know David's vote then, so probably a no from David. But Chesh, actually, I guess you didn't see enough of the debate, but still, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with giving any time to Kent Hovind on a platform that's not going to moderate him in a way that he needs to be handled is going to be a loss for everybody, including Kent, because that doesn't make him look good either.
No, it doesn't. It makes him kind of look like a jerk, which is fair because he is.
On the other hand, taking on Kent for your first debate, which you had mentioned, is ballsy. I'll give you that, because not because Kent's not predictable, because he is predictable. The way to beat Kent Hovind is to get him off script, and that's not an easy thing to do.
Not at all.
So to try and have him as your first debate, particularly on the platform that you went on to, not that I dislike modern day debate. Modern day debate is great. They just have a very particular way of doing things, and it doesn't always work for every discussion or debate that happens.
Right. Yeah.
So I would say that props to you for having the guts to go on and try and have that conversation. I would call that a win in my book, just for trying to do that.
Okay. By the way,
remember...
sorry, I was just going to read a thing from chat because Maya, who's here. Hello, Maya.
Hello.
She's here and she says, but on Gish galloping and random bullshittery, Kent totally dominated. Yes, he did. He did dominate that one.
To the surprise of absolutely fucking nobody.
Yeah.
All right, but Erica, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously the science was on your side, and anybody who's spent, a decent amount of time looking into this stuff is going to know that. And I thought the stuff that you clearly knew, you come out polite, and you come across polite rather and civil, which Kent is not really used to, and I think sometimes that catches him off guard because he kind of goes with the sort of smug, condescending air, and when he gets non-aggression back, that I think that kind of takes him by surprise. I think Chesh is right. I think the moderation style of modern day debate tends to be very hands-off, especially right now because Kent has threatened to never go on again so many times, and Kent debates tend to get a lot of views. So I don't blame James for being tentative, at least and for the interest of his channel. I think rhetoric-wise, I totally agree with everyone here. It's very gutsy to go up against Kent kind of first jump if debating is not really something that you've been into in the past. I think you were too nice, and that's coming from me, who's also too nice.
That's true.
You gotta kind of wrangle him a little bit. And one thing I was just really dying for you to go for, because it was the kind of knife that I went with him. When you kind of get him on something, you got to hold his feet to the fire. It's the only way to get him off script, like Chesh said. If you can frustrate him enough, he starts to stumble. That's at least what I've noticed, and I've consumed a hell of a lot of Kent content. Let me put it that way.
He's not easy to get off script, even when you try to debate him on something that his script isn't really about. He'll try and make it about it.
Yeah, and it makes him look like a moron.
Recognize that. Yeah, but only if you recognize it and stop him from doing it.
Yeah.
Say, well, no, that's not what we're here to talk about. I don't know why you're bringing this up. We're talking about this, and then go right back to it.
And the thing
you have
is,
to be stubborn.
you can't fall into the traps. Like one of the traps he likes to do, there are two biggies for me that I think
elephants and pine trees.
That is one of his lines, but the traps that he uses to try to piss people off is evolutionism is a religion, because everyone knows that's so blatantly untrue that you really want to stop him and say, no, it's not, but that's what he wants you to do, because then he can take that into an area that he has, the replies all lined up. And then the other one is that which you fell into, which is you came from a rock. We all know that no textbook says that, but he's convinced that somehow minerals from a primordial soup having an influence in abiogenesis equals coming from a rock. And so there's no use in trying to debate him on that. Listen, if Aaron couldn't get him to admit it, no one can.
Well, I mean, quite frankly, what that comes down to is that it's not that he's convinced, it's that he's sticking to it because he thinks he can make an argument, not that he's convinced.
Yes.
So he thinks that he can be like, well, minerals are rocks, and it's like, unless you're a geologist going to have that debate with him about that, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Which, and by the way, so for $2.99 Australian, or as I like to say, $2.99 reduce, we have from Ian Chen just saying hi and Amazon wishlist, Erica.
Okay, Ian, I have it. It's done. I'm posting it with my next video. So.
Oh, there you go, Ian.
Nice.
There you go.
You finally bullied her enough.
That really is the only reason I ended up making it, because Ian bullied me so much.
Did you add the book?
I'm only here because I got bullied into being
here.
Of
course.
Basically, yeah.
And I put reptile to mammal transition evolution and bunk on there as well. So, anyway, to sum up my thoughts, I think for someone who is so sweet, because you really are very sweet as a person, I think you did a really good job as far as keeping things civil, which that's I'm biased, that's my debate style, so I always like to see that, but just a little bit more, like, because you had him on when you brought up the paternity test, and he hates that one. And I know I use that one on him too. So, you let him get away. He's like a trout that you're like holding in your hands, and he's just wiggling. You've got to get him. So if you ever debate him again, that would be my suggestion, is once you've got him on a topic that he just very clearly doesn't get, you'll conspiracy cats him to hell and back. And I wasn't prepared for that. So
I've actually been trying to I think since I was nice, he might, decide to debate me again, or he might agree to do so. And I was looking to do it on Steve's channel, and I'm going to try to convince him to get on, because
on Non Sequitur or on Steve.
I don't think he'll go on either, but I
doubt he would go on. He really doesn't like Steve.
Because
Steve pissed him off.
They actually talk a little bit in the background. So there is background work that goes into that, so that wouldn't necessarily be impossible. And I also think that there might be a decent chance if it's someone like you, because Kyle's not there anymore to egg shit on.
Exactly.
So there's a decent chance you could probably set something up. We can at least try, especially if you are picking a format.
Exactly.
It's not impossible, is what I'm saying.
I would be interested to see that, and I think that would be a cool platform for it, because I think it's good to spread it out a little bit. I love modern day debate, but I do think that there is something to be said for multiple moderation styles, and it would be nice to see sometimes Kent Hovind moderated more strictly.
In a way, or moderated a little bit at all. The thing is, it's just not the way modern day debates is more just a free form. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to have it kind of depends on what you want to do. It depends on, because I think what we're trying to move a little bit more towards with Non Sequitur when we do debates is it's not going to be a formal debate, because there's too many problems that come along with it, and there are other places for stuff like that. So I think what we're going to try and do is we're going to be trying to work out a format that is, you have 10 minutes to make your case. Now you have 10 minutes to make your case. Okay, now let's discuss it. And then maybe what I might end up requesting from most people is, what's your case that you're making about the topic? Give me your point forms ahead of time. I'm not going to give them to the other person, but I'm going to have them. So that way, when we do get to the discussion part, I can help lead the discussion to make sure we stay on point with whatever points people were bringing up.
Yeah.
something like that. So it's a little bit more formatted, but also not like it's not a free for all, but it's also not like you can't get into Gish Gallop territory with stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm glad he didn't bring up like his 6 levels of evolution. I'm actually glad he. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, that's never fun.
Yeah, I was lucky enough he didn't bring that up because I guess I defined it from the beginning. So
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you gotta almost like that. I found too that something that kind of works with Kent is when you give him little wins, right? So you'll be like, yes, I agree with you on X. Now let us consider its implications on Y, and usually it's something that everyone accepts, like dogs.
Love following rabbit holes in people's arguments. That is my jam. I love that. I love it with I do it with flat earthers. I do it with anybody that I'm having like any kind of back and forth with, where I'm like, okay, so all right, let's agree with you then. Let's take this and let's run with it and let's see where it goes when you actually start implementing it. And you just run into like so many problems all the time. It's great. It's a good time. People get mad.
Well, and one of Kent's kind of, I guess, one of his better plays is when he's always on the offense with evolution, right? Because if you say, look at all these problems your model, quote unquote, has, he's like, oh, well, I'm not asking for mine to be taught in schools, so then you're constantly being put on the defensive. And that's a hard way to debate. Because then you're basically just getting drilled with questions. And the way that these things work is it's very might is right. If you get stumped on a question, it might be something totally out of left field, but it looks like you don't know what you're doing when you do that, even though that's totally not the case. And I've fallen into that too. And I found the best way to deal with it is to just be like, no, dude, I don't know that. Why would I know the answer to that? Like if it's something hyper specific. But yeah, I think you did a good job. Kent's a doozy, man. He's a doozy.
Yeah, ballsy to go and try and talk to him for your first debate, I gotta say.
When you said Kent is a doozy, I thought that you were going to use a different word at first until you got to that second syllable.
Yeah.
I try to keep my swearing to our Twitter chat and to Twitter in general. That's my outlet. And to once a couple drinks get into.
So next Eric with Erica, you're going to let rip on all the swears, huh?
I try to keep things
PG-13. Twitter, it's a nightmare.
Oh my goodness.
I feel that.
If you make the sailors embarrassed, then you're doing it right.
That's true. That is true.
Actually,
I always like to one-up sailors by being like, yo, I'm a pirate. What do you even...
Well, hey, as a sailor, I think that you do a decent job there, Chesh. Or I suppose as a former sailor. What do you think there, Bent?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, there you go. We have a lot of experiences with being sailors and other sailors, so we know.
I picked it up from working factory.
That could do it. I picked it up, of course, in the Navy, as did Bent, which is, in case people don't know, that's how I know Benthovend.
I have been told by a sailor that I swear a lot, so I consider that.
Nice, Erica. You didn't know that Bent and I met when we were in the Navy together.
Kind of like that has been a thought in the back of my mind where I'm like, I wonder where they met, but I would not have guessed. I guess it's because of what Bent does now. I was kind of like
completely different, yeah. But I was on an aircraft carrier, and then this big dinosaur came on board one day, and I was like, all right, I'll be friends with that guy.
Had a little bitty hat.
That was dapper.
Yeah, Jurassic Park 3. Yeah, I have a guest appearance.
He's got a monocle. I trust that guy.
Exactly.
I mean, look at this tie. That's a great tie.
Well, I had to use a different necktie when I was in the Navy. It's
yeah.
You gotta roll it up.
Did Ben have to get up on a ladder to put it on for you?
I'm not actually that tall. I mean, I'm about 1.7-ish meters tall.
Yeah, but to get around the back of your neck?
Oh no! See, there's I don't have to worry about the back of the neck. Remember, I just use arcane rituals to stick neckties to myself.
I forgot.
It's a clip-on. That's code for it's a clip-on.
What's it clipped onto?
Your skin. Dinosaur scales.
Ventral scales. Speaking of scales,
I thought it was kept up with warp magic.
I'm gonna take off because I know you had another person you wanted to come in. So
All right. Well, RJ, try to come back in. We'll hopefully you'll have a better connection. Sorry, I have a limit of 6, but thank you very much for hanging out, Chesh. I didn't have to bully you too hard, I don't think.
Chesh, I'm hyped for our next or last 30 questions.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, that'll hopefully be happening this weekend.
In our news, Dapper, you said you're about 1.7 meters?
Yeah.
Congratulations, I'm taller than you.
You Kakarot. I'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye, Chesh. Thank you.
Bye, Jess.
Nice talking.
Yes. Chesh is one of the people that almost whatever I'm doing, it's like, oh, hey, can I come on? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Because I always have fun when Chesh is here.
She's a blast.
Yeah. I never don't have fun when Chesh is around.
Listen, David, I want to offer you some unsolicited advice. Mm-hmm. You're probably going to get a request to debate Standing for Truth because he almost always tries to debate people right after they debate Kent. And if you say yes, do your homework, like a lot, because he really likes to pull out random stats. And in my experience with Standing, whom I've had nothing but pleasant encounters with, many of those stats, once you follow them to their termination, are not what they seem. So hit me up if you want some
get out of context. Yeah. I remember Bill Ludlow in Hoven's debate with him. He talked about because Hoven had previously said what was it that they used carbon dating on on a mammoth, and then
oh god.
Yeah, but it was from two different mammoths.
I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that too.
That was that was hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, rest in peace. Bill was awesome.
Bill was awesome. In fact, it was really great to be able to meet him in person. Bent and I, we went to the museum that he volunteered at, and he was there. Cool. And so that wasn't very long before he died, was it?
No.
Maybe a year. Maybe.
I don't think it was that long, was it?
Maybe not.
Because I had
no idea who he was at the time either.
Right. But then you watched his debate.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like,
I was like, I wish I watched this before I met him.
In fact, actually, Bill is the reason that I have my Leaving Young Earth Creationism series, because Bill had started that series. And so I was going to be on it. I think less than a week before it came, the announcement was made that he had died. Less than a week after that, I was supposed to have been on his show for Leaving Young Earth Creationism to talk about that whole process. And so, I thought about it, and I asked some people. Oh, and we get RJ coming in, hopefully, once his devices connect. So, I asked a lot of people about it, and it's like, what do you think? Should I continue it? Should I do an episode myself? And so, Dead Kennedy in Space, who has a great channel, by the way, go check out Dead Kennedy in Space. He came on, he interviewed me for that, and then since then, I've been interviewing other people who have left Young Earth Creationism. So I feel like it's one little tiny way where I can say, all right, I'm helping to continue some of Bill's work.
Right.
So, and RJ, if you're still watching the chat, I am not able to add you right now because apparently it's not connecting your devices. So I think you're good now.
RJ, he's here.
RJ.
Oh, hey, RJ.
RJ.
Hey.
RJ?
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
we can.
Yes.
All right.
Yay!
There you are.
Everything down so that I.
Oh man, it was. So what the audience didn't see is that right before we went on, RJ was in here.
I will not turn on the cam.
Yes, don't.
Yeah, don't turn on the cam.
Yeah, right before we went on, RJ was in here, and we could barely hear him, and his video was stuttering. And I was just like, I'm sorry, RJ, I gotta get out of it. It's just not gonna work because it was terrible. But hopefully,
Dapper punted RJ right from the chat.
Oh yeah, right out there.
Yeah,
like, get out of here, RJ.
Yeah, sent him for the airlock.
Well, RJ, you want to get in here and give some of your thoughts? What do you think? RJ?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I was curious whether or not Kent ended appeal to God, or are you losing my sound again?
It's a little bit, but I think you said you want to know if Kent ended the debate with an appeal to God and hellfire and whatnot. RJ, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, RJ.
Yep. Yeah, I can hear you.
It's iffy. All right. So I think what you said was, did Kent Hovind end the debate with an appeal to God and consequences of not believing God?
I'm sorry.
That was for you. You're the debater, so you're the primary go-to.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Ooh. Sorry. I remember he was like he mentioned several times throughout the debate we'll see what happens Judgment Day or something like that. I don't remember him specifically saying that at the end, but I've heard that before and I just kind of shrug it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the thing I don't get is like, okay, I'm going to threaten you with pain and violence after you're dead. Like, well, okay. I mean, lots of people do that.
Right.
Why are you the one who's particularly convincing and terrifying? But we do have a couple super chats I want to get to real quick.
Sure.
And let's see. We have one for $4.99 from Vandalia1998 who says, "You're all welcome to come on my podcast Saturday, but only 5 at a time." So I think T Lane, Erica, and I have, and RJ, you've been on with Vandalia1998, right? I can't hear.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You get around.
So we've been on there. I don't think Bent or David have, but if you want, Vandalia1998 does a podcast on Saturdays. I think I already have an obligation on that day. I think mostly because someone bought me something. And so,
you're talking about Terraria,
Yep.
which is a game that's getting an update this weekend.
I did promise that I would be doing a lot of that. So I'm not sure exactly where I'll be when, other than we have a stream with Erica and Eric Vierthaler, not Eric Hovind, different Eric, on Saturday at noon. So watch out for that. But anyone, if you want on, Vandalia1998 has a podcast, and a lot of times there's stuff about various science topics. They'll do evolution, geology, mass extinctions throughout time, stuff like that.
Love Vandalia.
Yeah, good conversations there. And then for $2 from Terry James, Kent is running from debating Robert Batty on taxes. Oh, you know what? Robert Batty has been on my channel, or not as a guest, but he's been in my chat a few times. And that is the guy who, so in case you don't know, a few weeks back, a 7-year-old boy, Bent, is that you typing?
Yeah.
Could you mute before you do that?
Is it really loud?
It's really
It's a
loud.
little loud.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's okay.
I get that. I have a mechanical keyboard.
It's very loud.
Loud.
But, where was I? Oh, right. So a few weeks ago, actually it might be a couple months now at this point. But anyway, a 7-year-old boy drowned at Dinosaur Adventureland in one of their ponds. And so this story was circulating around for a while. I didn't address it too much because I was having trouble finding sources other than like atheist blogs, which that didn't themselves seem to link to anything. And that's, to me, not a sufficient source because it's biased and it's not something that, like, if it was a news report or something, then I would go for it. But he acknowledged that it happened on one of his live streams. And then his response was, you know what, though? His siblings had a lot of fun here, and they can't wait to come back. Now let me talk about Robert Batty, who has been disagreeing with me on my tax case and who also talked about this drowning. And it's like, really? You're just going to switch right into going to have some Twitter fight? Really? And his siblings loved it, and they can't wait to come back. Sure. Yeah, that all checks out.
Yeah, it was a big yikes all around.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
And we have Speed of Sound of Gravity saying, who needs to mute? Bent.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Goodness. Yeah, so that whole thing. And shortly after that, actually, Robert Batty showed up in my chat, which was a big surprise because I have no idea how he found me. But yeah, it was that was where I lost any sense of respect or sympathy or just the idea that I should treat Kent in any way with kid gloves. I was just like, no, I'm done. It was a pretty close when he decided to use.
I've had no respect for Kent for decades.
Well, I've had no respect for his his ability to communicate anything scientific or be right about things. But I've been willing to at least do things like, be polite about him. But I came close to stopping that when he decided to use Rachel Oates' unfortunate on-screen self-harm for his own rhetorical purposes. Yeah, that didn't really sit well with me. But then the thing with the kid now is just like, no, it's done.
The thing is that it really was kind of a from an outsider's perspective, a gross display of just zero empathy whatsoever to the situation and what happened. I mean, like, you can say it's an accident. It probably was. I mean, I'm not saying it would be like intentional or anything, but accidents do happen. But
I don't think he was murdered.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I meant like I guess I don't know what I meant, but
it's okay.
Maybe I did mean murder. I don't think Kent is smart enough to do that.
He's a callous person.
Oh, I think Kent is plenty smart enough to murder someone. I just don't think that he sees it as advantageous. I think if he did, I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, but do you think he'd be smart enough to get away with it?
I don't know, because the thing is, it happened on his little cult compound. So
no.
What evidence would there be? Like, I'm not saying that he did, but I'm saying if Kent
I don't think even Jay Sekulow could get him off.
I don't know, because who would be the witnesses that would go against him?
Here's the thing: there wouldn't have to
sycophants.
He would straight up, like, one of the Listen, I'm a true crime buff. I listen to true crime podcasts nonstop. I'm just saying, there's a very, very classic trait amongst people who tend to lack empathy, and thus are somewhat sociopathic. I'm not saying Kent is. I'm just saying, those things aren't mutually exclusive, so to speak. But they almost want to get caught. We see that a lot in serial killers, right? Where they get caught and they're like, finally, at last, I can take credit for what happened. I think if Kent Hovind was going to murder somebody, which he did not, and I don't think that he did, I want to make that very clear.
No evidence that he did, no even inclination that he might have.
No suggestion. There is not even this suggestion. We are just musing about if Kent Hovind is intelligent enough to get away with murder, in the same way that you would muse if, I don't know, Cher could get away with murder, which I don't think she could. But I don't know. I think he'd eventually be like chill with coming out about it and basically saying, well, I did nothing wrong.
Okay. That's an interesting take. And also for $1.99 from Mothra J Disco, which I would say take a drink for Mothra, but all I have is water. I guess I'll take a sip anyway. Which, by the way, if you don't know about our drinking rules, one of them involves Mothra. And so when Mothra J Disco super chats, I like to just assume that counts. But anyway, Kent is threatening to destroy Eric's ministry. And he is trying. So I know he released a video today. I haven't bothered to watch it yet. But it's about his attempts, as far as I know, because Kent Hovind has been trying to do this for a while. He's been trying to get the assets that... while Eric Hovind was the trustee of Creation Science Evangelism, he sold essentially all of the assets of that ministry, which was Kent's ministry, to a ministry he started called Creation Science Today. And so, as far as I know, Kent is suing to try to get a return of the land and whatever assets remain. I doubt it's going to work out. For one thing, you put your son in charge, and I'm sorry, but the family who has continually complained about your physical and emotional abuse maybe wasn't the right people to put in charge of your stuff if you wanted to get it back.
Wait, hold on. Physical abuse?
Oh yeah, it's not very hard to find a clip of Kent Hovind going on about the time that he beat Eric enough so that he was more scared of his father than of the dentist in order to get him to hold still at the dentist.
Oh, good God.
Because kind of just, like, I don't know, brought a toy for him to play with.
Yeah.
Good God, are you serious?
Yeah. His solution to Eric being too scared at the dentist to have some filling fill or something. Because, I mean, he's a kid and there's drills going in his mouth and whatnot. But yeah, he kept squirming, and so Kent Hovind took him outside, gave him a very thorough beating, and then said, hey, I play a lot of tennis. I'm not going to get tired for a long time. So if you move again, I'm going to give you 2 more beatings like you just got. And then we're going to go back in, and we're going to keep going and getting more and more severe until you stand still. And that was
very Old Testament of him.
Yeah. So that family. Yeah, maybe they weren't the best people to be putting in charge of your ministry there.
Yeah.
Kent is kind of a putz.
Yeah.
That's putting it lightly. But
he's very Trumpian.
Yeah.
So someone in the chat asked if there was a redeeming quality to Kent Hovind. Let's see.
Can't think of any offhand.
I don't think that he has ever been. I've never seen any reports that he has been untoward sexually with anyone who wasn't actually interested. So I'll give him that. I don't think that he's been too handsy or has been trying to coerce people who weren't into it on his, campground or whatever you're going to call it into doing anything like that, which I can't say for everyone who's been in a position similar to him, which is having a religiously based compound in the middle of the woods.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Battle faster. I hear banjos.
Look at Brian Stevens' comment.
Oh, what
Eric Hovind has sent him Christmas cards. Not joking.
Oh, nice.
Oh, my God.
I wouldn't mind getting an Eric Hovind Christmas card.
You know what? I wouldn't mind either.
Eric is at least has a.
Well, Eric had a nice apologia. It was quite civil.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was referring to. Actually, RJ, that's what I had in mind too. I was thinking, yeah, he did fine with Apologia, and you got to give him props for that, if nothing else. I guess Kent really nudged him in the opposite direction with that rod.
Oh my goodness. Zach Brannigan points out not being a sexual predator is not a redeeming quality. And generally, I would agree. But when it comes to someone who you expect probably would be, and then they're not, it feels like maybe it sort of is. Because you're like, oh, I guess not everything about him is completely terrible. Because I'm no longer, like I said, polite or
it's a silver lining behind the rancid cloud.
Yeah, man.
It's just could be worse. But it could also be a whole lot.
David, what in your debate with Kent? What did you regard as your best move? What was your best case for success? Do you think?
Yeah, I didn't do as good as I'd hoped. I totally screwed up on the trees, or like on the polystrate trees. I totally forgot about that. But I think the best case would probably be I didn't get into Homo erectus, but I think I did a good job with the the dinosaurs to birds. And also with Lucy explaining how it was human-like, or afarensis, explaining how human-like it was. I don't really remember him addressing that, other than it's like, oh, so there's an ape with...
That's interesting. Because he usually has patter on bird evolution and Lucy. He would just call them frauds and fakes and all that kind of stuff. So you may have kind of thrown him off a tad.
Exactly.
Yeah, I did notice that. He didn't really address them. He just kind of went to his standard, like, oh, fossils, you can't prove they had any kids.
He'll always say that.
No one's in the dirt, baby. That's all they are.
Oh man, and I loved it that in today's debate, I thought it was particularly interesting. He seemed incapable of understanding why you might assign more than one fossil to the same genus or species, or why you might associate particular ichnofossils with a known fossil taxon. It was just like, no, that completely over his head. He has no idea. Every single fossil is just a single skeleton, apparently, according to Ken Hovind. It's an isolated thing, and you can't make any inferences based on similar fossils. No.
Yeah, he has very little. He's a very shallow pond that spreads out in all directions and has quite the surface area, but it sure doesn't go very deep.
No.
All right, dude. I gotta blow out.
He's a bottom feeder. I don't think he's read a paleontology paper in his life.
No, I don't think so.
Erica, right. before you go,
Terraria.
I know I borrowed you enough. You're invited after Dapper stream or before if you want to hang out for an hour.
I'm in. I gotta read Terraria, but I'm in.
All right, and I just want to make a quick announcement regarding Erica, or actually a couple. We are hoping to get Erica on Saturday at around noon, or actually at noon, for a tour of a Creationist museum with herself, myself, and Eric Vierthaler 92. So if you want to watch that,
we're gonna get mad. It's gonna be fun.
And then probably Sunday, we're thinking.
Ooh, neat.
Probably Sunday or maybe late Saturday, but I'm thinking Sunday. We were going to be trying to answer the last 30 of the 100 questions for atheists, which aren't really directed at atheists, but we'll get into that another day. But that will be on Cheshire Vic's channel. We're working on setting that up with our fourth person who is on Holy Roast. So assuming that all works out, check out Cheshire Vic's channel for more Erica and Cheshire Vic and Dabber Dino.
It's gonna be fun. We're all gonna get pissed off.
Well, 6:30 Sunday. 6:30 Sunday Pacific. I'll be going after Standing for Truth.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay. We gotta have that before then. I'm excited.
All right. Well, press F in the chat for the loss of our gentle and modern Gibbon.
That is me. F's in the chat.
Bye. All right. It's nice to have Erica back. I'm sure Erica has been on a trip for a while, and her internet has been extremely spotty at best. And so while I am sure that trip was very much needed and that she had a great time, it's nice to have Erica back because now, she's one of my my YouTube buddies, and we do good work when we're on together. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, she and I are a pretty good team. And that is a lot of Fs. It's much appreciated. I will make sure that I let her know that we got, what is that, like a dozen or so? And if you haven't pressed F, then come on. Also, if you haven't liked, I'm noticing that we have 59 people watching and only 24 likes. So help me out there, guys.
I see 25.
Oh,
hey,
well.
Yeah.
I also now see 64 people watching. We should be having at least 40 likes. Come on, guys. But so yeah, I am actually a little bit surprised that Kent went back on modern day debate at all, and I guess I can see by the extreme lack of moderation from James, it's because James basically promised to not say anything to him ever.
Oh, yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah. It's the thing with Kent is I think he has realized of late just how badly he does in debates against well-informed opponents who will keep him on topic. And it's because it's extremely badly. I think it started basically almost right after prison. I noticed he went on with King Crocodile 3 times in a row, just ready to go. And then getting him on with like Bill Ludlow or Aaron Ra was a bit of a hassle. Like there was a lot of back and forth, and Kent Hovind failed to show up like 4 or 5 times with Aaron Ra. I can't tell you how many times I tuned in to the Non Sequitur show because there was a scheduled discussion between the two of them. And then Kyle and Steve would pop on and be like, Kent Hovind didn't show, so we're not doing it. Bye.
Reminds me of Conspiracy Cats Part 2, where in the end Kent just went, screw you, I'm not coming on.
Yep. Yeah, I am happy to say, by the way, that my debate with him, as far as I know,
we had an easy time of getting debate with me going.
Well, yeah, that's because you will do things.
That's because a bottom feeder like Kent will have never heard of you, RJ.
Yeah, I think that might be it. I don't think he knew who you were.
Hell, I think he's heard of me now.
Oh, he's definitely heard of you. You're Altar Boy. Yeah, Altar Boy. Altar 4 RJ. He's going to buy you a candle. Did you take him up on that? Do you remember that? Because in the debate he said,
golly gosh,
I'll buy you
that
your
would
next
be...
candle. You should ask him for a candle.
He might have stories about what he can do with that candle I don't want to hear.
You could ask him for the Gwyneth Paltrow candle, which if you don't know about it, I'm not going to explain it to you, but you can check it out on the internet.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Or without goop.
No.
Oh, I just remembered.
Sorry to inflict that on your brains.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, I'm making dinosaurs properly extinct now.
You'll never be able to unsee it now.
Oh, you know what? Someone asked a good question. Zach Brannigan, who asks, has anyone accepted his free video offers? I don't know. He offers to send people his videos, and on the one hand, I'm kind of like, what's the point? But on the other hand, I'm like, I guess it's a gesture.
Yeah, all the same thing.
Have you? So, David, do you think you might take him up? Because I believe he offered to send you a video.
Yeah, I have seen some of his seminars. Yeah.
Ben Tobin and I have seen a lot of them.
Almost.
Oh. I have unfortunately have as well because I watch Kent with Ben.
Mm-hmm.
And I watch the Shills, and I watch Movie Night. So there you go. My brain is melting.
You just to read Walt Brown. There you got 90% of Kent.
So I want to get Dave's quick answer on whether or not he thinks he'll take Kent up on that, and then we have a super chat that I want to read. So go ahead, Dave. Or David, I don't know what. I'm sorry.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I might take him up. Of course, what's on there is just, crap, but,
But he might buy you a Pepsi to watch it with.
Oh, that's true, yeah. He won't buy beer, but,
No. Although I don't know how he's planning on buying you a Pepsi. Like, is he planning on physically putting a bottle of Pepsi in a package that also has his DVD on it? Because, like, otherwise, if he's just going to, like, send you the money and then you can just go buy whatever the heck you want with it, I don't know. I guess you know what, though? To be fair, if Kent Hovind said, here, I'm sending you a DVD and money for a Pepsi, I would feel honor bound to at least either get a Pepsi or a Coke or some kind of cola and not go completely against his wishes for the money. And I just feel like that's sort of an internal sort of honor thing. Like, people give me money for X, I'm going to go do X with it. So, like, for instance, sometimes people will send me, like, a super chat and they're like, oh, hey, this is for, the booze fund, or go get a pizza or something. And I do. I go get a pizza, or I buy a bottle of liquor, or whatever it is they tell me, unless it's something I just wouldn't do. Like, I
would get Pepsi brand, because I personally really don't like Pepsi or Coke. Cola ain't my thing.
But I think any soft drink would be reasonable in that case, right? Like, I don't think Kent is doing that because he has stock in Pepsi. I think it's just the one he drinks, so he just says it.
Right.
Well, there you go. That shows that Kent obviously drinks inferior soda.
Person.
All right, so for $2 from Terry James, does anybody think Kent will go Waco? I honestly don't, mostly because I don't think he's stockpiling guns. So, what does anyone else think?
I don't think so. I definitely hope not.
Yeah.
That would just be... Oh my gosh, I can't imagine if that happened, I would just be staring
pressed
at the
into a
TV.
corner, I would not put it past him to be annoying.
But do you think that he would go out guns blazing and set his own compound on fire? Because I honestly don't.
I'm not sure that he's violent enough to do that.
I can see him going out Waco, but instead of
stripper liquor says Hovind is a Walmart Kenneth Copeland.
He just goes out and tries to force people to read the Bible.
Yeah, I don't think he'll go out.
That's what Kent would do.
Right. And then, stripper liquor says Hovind is a Walmart kind of Copeland. I actually think that he's the creationist Joe Exotic.
I think he's more likely to do a Heaven's Gate cult suicide.
I don't think so.
More likely to do that than a David Koresh Waco.
I don't think either of those are likely to happen.
I don't think they're either likely either, but
I'll be honest. I
he
think
could do the Kool-Aid though, because he already knows about the water.
And he does sell his own poison.
Yeah, I mean, might not be Kool-Aid. It might be just let's all eat 1,000 apricot seeds, and then he dies of the aldehyde cyanide poisoning or something like that.
And for $1.99 from Vandelli 1998, we have I could see him trying to shell a Pepsi in a stream. I think he means shill. I mean, hey, maybe Ken Hovind does actually secretly have stock in Pepsi. It's possible. We don't know.
Hey, tell him a Pepsi is a brachiopod, and he might try to shell it.
Oh my goodness. That man has no idea what the difference between a brachiopod and a bivalve is, and it's painful every time he makes the mistake.
He thinks dinosaurs are lizards, Yeah.
I think so. To be honest, mixing up bivalves and brachiopods is a bigger mistake than dinosaurs and lizards. It's actually a much bigger mistake.
It's a common one. He gets it from his source base. They make the same mistake.
Yeah.
You know what? Vesta Freya actually indirectly reminded me of something. Kent used bloody tornadoes in a junkyard as an argument in the debate. Which I just went, oh no, not again!
I thought that we were more or less past that exact thing, but no, we're not.
That was bad.
Yeah, he did.
Remember, his brain congealed in 1980.
Basically, yeah.
Really, I thought it was 1970.
So it seems like one of the things I like to judge it based on is like the way he thinks of dinosaurs, right? Because he's Dr. Dino, and it's a big part of his thing. He likes to talk about dinosaurs. He has Dinosaur Adventureland, where he has like a license plate Brachiosaurus or something. But then you look at like, okay, well, how does Kent Hovind portray and think about and talk about dinosaurs? And the answer is he has no knowledge of dinosaurs from the point of the dinosaur revolution in the mid 80s on.
And seldom mentions them.
Yeah. It's a strange thing because it's like even like what is it? Answers in Genesis has at least gotten up to like the mid 90s or so in terms of their portrayal of dinosaurs. Like if you look at how dinosaurs are being portrayed in their Creation Museum or in the models that they have in the Ark Encounter, they look like mid 90s dinosaurs. They don't look like modern dinosaurs. And also they've now come out and said that some of the dinosaurs that they have
they're terrified to put feathers on their theropods.
Well, not anymore, because now David Menton has gone on to say that dromaeosaurs are birds.
Yep.
So Velociraptor, Deinonychus.
Yeah, Jackson and I are going to be putting a big section on that in the new Rocks book.
Good, because that'll be great.
If you have read any Alan Fiducia from the past 10, 20 years, you will know that they are purely channeling him on that.
Oh, yeah.
They're channeling Alan Fiducia, and Alan Fiducia is Ron, so there you go.
So I think there's a fair chance that some people are not familiar with the craziness of Alan Fiducia.
Worse, can't channel Fiducia through Harun Yahya.
God. Oh, man. Harun Yahya. Is he at a higher or a lower tier than Kent Hovind? I don't even know.
Let's see. Well, he's a parasitical scholar. Never had an original idea in his life, so he's at that same level. He's a little tidier on the finicky part, and he puts pretty little pictures in all of the books he does. So there's a little more artistic, kitschy level to Harun that Kent Hovind is kind of meat and potatoes. I'll try to get my PowerPoint up kind of guy.
Okay. Well, do you remember the time that Harun Yahya showed a picture of an isopod and a picture of a trilobite and then said, "Where's the evolutionary change?" Because I remember that one. I also remember
and wasn't it a fishing lure?
No, he did use a fishing lure, but that was for a shrimp. So he used a fishing lure for a shrimp as an example of a modern shrimp and comparing it to a fossil shrimp. And it was like, oh, look, where's the evolution? It wasn't even a living shrimp. It was a fishing lure.
I think it was an insect, actually.
Oh, maybe it was an insect.
But it was an insect, I'm pretty sure.
Well, he also did one where he put up a triops. And then rather than putting up a photo of a fossil triops, he put up a fossil Eurypterid or something like that. It was ridiculous. It was like, you could just use an actual triops from the fossil record. That would have been more impressive. These two things don't look like they've evolved, therefore no evolution.
Or the trilobite and the isopod. It's not like isopods, can't survive in extended daylight. They don't have calcified shells.
They don't even have broadly. Their anatomy is somewhat superficially similar, but it's like saying it's like basically confusing a human and a frog or something. Like, it's hard to get animals that are more distantly related than these two, that while they could still even be vaguely similar looking. No
one is ever going to accuse Kent Hovind or Harun Yahya of systematics.
Well, my goodness, I've heard Kent Hovind try to do systematics.
I wouldn't even call Kent Hovind systematically stupid.
Wow, that would be something, because he's shied away from it typically.
Well, that's what he tried to do.
I think he even has trouble figuring out if squirrels and
chipmunks.
Well, that was the thing. He tried to get a bit into systematics in my debate because he acknowledged in the course of the debate that, yes, taxa can be valid things, and you can have taxa that are valid or invalid. And so then I tried to start walking him through, well, here are some valid taxa on the way to birds. And he realized what was going on almost immediately, because he played along for a little bit. But then he was like, oh, nope, going to divert away from this.
Yeah.
This isn't going to go well. Because I think he knew that if I
you can only entice him out onto the diving. You can only entice him out onto the diving board until he notices there's no water in the creationist.
I still want to see him take a dive, though.
Oh, I want to see him take a dive into, say, actual geology and not just flood geology rhetoric. That would be painful for him.
I mean, honestly, I'd be interested to see what Colton would do on a geology debate with Kent Hovind. So, Colton, if you're watching, or I say that like I can't just ask him right now, like I'm in contact with him. Like he has to watch this, or I'll never talk to him again. But yeah, I would be interested to see. I don't know that.
Anybody with a technical field can work their questions in to trip Kent up. The people that have the most trouble with him are ones that come in as a general and haven't read a lot of Kent Hovind, so he can just trample them with the usual shtick.
Yeah. Well, that's why when I did my debate, I specifically went for a very narrow topic, because I was like, I can convince any reasonable person that on the basis of just this character-based definition for dinosaur, that birds are a member of the group. If you listen to what the definition is and you don't reject the definition, you note the anatomy of birds, it is undeniable that birds are dinosaurs. And I was like, I can present that case. I don't know if I can do all the stuff about all the radiometric dating or all the geology or the human, all of those things. I probably can't do them all in the same debate. And that's why I picked an extremely narrow topic. And I wouldn't even let him get away with calling it, did birds evolve from dinosaurs? I was like, nope, that's not the discussion we're having. We're having a different discussion. One that isn't even about evolution.
Are birds dinosaurs, even by the creationist model?
Mm-hmm. Because
they're in a terrible bind on that. But remember, Kent doesn't read baraminology. If you read the baraminology stuff as well, you're 8,000 miles ahead of him on every front.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't even have to get far into creationist literature before you already know more about creationism than Kent Hovind does. Honestly, it's kind of embarrassing to creationists.
And same thing with Ken Ham. Ken Ham doesn't read his own creationist literature.
But at least he takes, I think he takes advice from his PhD staff about what to drop, because he has dropped some of the more ridiculous things that he has said in the past. So I think that he's willing. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Kent has no editor.
David, I'm sorry. There's a bit of a delay.
Oh, did y'all hear Erica? Just briefly, she said something.
Erica's not here.
Even though she's not in here, or
I don't think she could have said anything. Is someone watching an Erica video with the volume up?
It's not me. Not this time.
Yep. All right. So for 199 from Vandali 1998, it says topic doesn't matter. He will bring up everything. Yeah, he'll try at least. Like in our birds dinosaurs debate, his opening statement involved a mostly fictional biography of Charles Darwin, as if any details of Charles Darwin's life could even be relevant to the topic at hand.
Oh,
right. Yeah.
And I didn't even address him. I just said, well,
poor little Chuck.
Yeah, you brought up Charles Darwin. I think you got a lot of it wrong, but it doesn't matter, so I'm just not going to address it. I don't care to talk about it.
Oh, if you want to be really snarky, you could say, well, we could go into biographies, but we can say that Charles Darwin never had a sentence.
Oh, and apparently, according to Taco, Erica's ghost is after you, David. You better watch out.
Oh.
Erica is astrally projecting to haunt you.
Yeah.
You better burn some sage or something and cleanse the evil spirits. I hear that works. Although I hate the smell. Have you ever smelled
it's a magic rock.
Oh,
magic rock. Eat those.
What was it? A roommate of mine, a long time ago. I mean, this was long before even the channel started. A long time ago, maybe a decade ago. I come home and I'm like, what is this terrible smell? And I see my roommate waving around this bundle of leaves, and it's like, oh, it's sage. I'm like, well, can we not? It's awful. Like, you don't like that smell? I'm like, no, it smells like burning garbage. Get it out of the house.
Yeah, it's fine as a spice, but not as a room freshener.
Right, no. Ugh. But you know what? Maybe that's why it's supposed to get rid of the evil spirits. It's because they don't like the smell either.
Yeah,
there we go. Yes, that's...
yeah.
Whew. I suppose burning rubber or lapsang souchong tea might work as well.
Oh, you know what, though? I like to make tea eggs with that. You ever made tea eggs with lapsang souchong tea? Have you ever made tea eggs at all, RJ?
No, it's a way too pungent tea for my case.
Well, what's one of the nice things about...
it's an awfully pungent tea from my point of view.
Well, the thing about tea eggs is that they usually have a fairly mild flavor. Because what you do to make tea eggs, right, is you boil the eggs, and then you crackle the shell. You don't peel it, but you crackle the shell. And then you drop that in the tea overnight.
You're devouring your relatives, Dapper.
Like you've never had a piece of beef. People are always like, oh, you're eating dinosaur? I'm like, yeah, because dinosaur is a broad taxonomic category. You're eating mammal? Yeah, of course you are. Why wouldn't you? Now, if you're like, oh, hey, Dapper, you're eating another member of Ceratosauroidea, then I'd be like, it's a little weird. But luckily for me, Ceratosauroids are thin on the ground nowadays. Doesn't come up much.
I haven't been able to find any other than you thus far. So
exactly. But yeah. So you drop the crackled egg in the tea that you've already brewed beforehand. Put it in the fridge overnight, and then it lightly flavors the egg, and you get it when you peel it. You get a nice little like crackling effect where the cracks were. It's darker, and it's really really nice little. You can warm them up if you want to. Just put them in a little thin layer of some water and heat that a little bit, and then, or you can eat them cold with some salt or something. It's really good. Try tea eggs. That's one of my recommended teas for it, by the way. Let's see.
And our next episode of Cooking with Dapper Dino.
I'd watch that.
Oh man, I would actually be willing to debate Kent Holland. I would definitely prepare beforehand, and I'd probably get Colton's and RJ's help with that. And Stephen Palman too, definitely Stephen Palman. But the fact that I would have to dox myself pretty heavily. No, thank you. No, thank you, Kent.
The degree of doxing or ability to dox that Kent Hovind.
It's the advantage of being an old fart who doesn't care about his reputation.
Yeah, you know what? I can do my full name. I can do that.
All right, for
$2 phone number in a picture? No fucking thank you.
Real quick, for $2 redues from John Rapp, we have, but, quote, Dr. Hovind taught biology for 15 years, facepalm. Yeah, he, apparently, Kent Hovind teaches biology in the same way that I teach paleontology, because every once in a while I talk to one of my nieces or nephews about some dinosaur they like. Like, that's the kind of level of quote-unquote education that we're actually getting. And sure, he was technically employed as a teacher at some of these like home church schools that basically small, extremely fundamentalist evangelical churches will sometimes start a quote school that'll have maybe 30 students in it total, K through 12. And they'll hire a few people as part-time instructors, and they don't have any credentials, or at least they don't need any credentials. The school will just hire whoever in the church they think might do an okay job. And these churches are often so small that they're...
David, have you...
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. David, have you seen Kent's doctoral thesis? I should put that in quotation marks.
Oh, yes. Yes. Hello, my name is...
Yeah, that sums it up.
Oh, man. I remember, I think it was Erica's reaction to learning that that's how he started his supposed thesis. And, like, I think it broke her for about 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, I don't remember. Does it even have a title page?
Let me pull up the PDF because I have it.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's circulated like pornography as a secret pleasure.
If I can channel Jeff Sessions, I don't recall.
It does have a title page and a dedication page.
Oh, wow. That's
And
actually surprisingly formal.
Introduction. Hello, my name is Kent Hovind. I am a creation science evangelist. Yada yada yada. And I haven't read the whole thing.
Of course, he's tinkered with it over the years. I think there's various versions because he constantly re-edits it, which of course you can't do with a real doctorate thesis.
Did he fix his spelling mistakes?
In concrete.
Did he fix his spelling mistakes?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, the other fun thing is that generally speaking, a doctoral thesis is a matter of public record, right? You can just go ask for anyone with a real PhD, or you can ask their university for access to their thesis, and they will give it to you. So the fact that Kent Hovind has never actually
they pop up all the time in Google searches and Academia EDU postings and stuff too.
Yeah. So if you have a real PhD, then your thesis is out there, and anyone can find it with very little trouble if they want to. But it seems like Kent Hovind didn't even know that a thesis was an expectation for a PhD in the first place, because there's some indication that his quote unquote thesis was written after he received his diploma. So,
which isn't how it works. So
from Patriot University.
Yeah. And so I've had the discussion, why would someone go to an unaccredited university? And I actually think there are some reasons that you might do it that aren't illegitimate. For instance, let's say that you actually are just going because you want to learn about a thing, and you think that this place is offering a selection of courses that they'll actually let you take this selection and learn those things, and you've looked into who's teaching them, and you think they are actually reasonable at it. You want to get an unaccredited art degree or something, and it's these guys do good artwork. I expect them to be able to decently teach me, and I don't plan on putting this degree per se in my resume or anything. I just plan on using the skills. Then fine, go get yourself an unaccredited degree. That's great. Just don't use a title that you haven't earned. And we have, for another $2 dues from John Rapp, Kent is a JM truth level expert in science. Ouch. Yeah, I don't know. Kent, I think he's just accidentally, I don't think he has any deeper understanding than JM Truth does, but I think that because he missed out on the rise of flat Earth as a thing, that he just happened to be right about things because they weren't controversial by the time he went to jail, basically. So I think he might have the same level of understanding, but he is less wrong about things than JM Truth is, but only accidentally.
I mean,
it's
they both
just an
dressed up
accident of his background that he didn't slide into that stuff. If he was in a different background, he could easily have been a geocentrist like Gerardus Boo or somebody like that, although an awful lot of them come from a hyper-conservative Roman Catholic perspective, and he is a hyper-conservative King James Version Protestant, so there's a different demographic going on there. And the political extremism that he has is not atypical for flat earthers.
And by the way, we have for £5 from Godless Scummer, which, by the way, Godless Scummer, thank you for coming by. I think this might be Godless Scummer's first time in the chat, so everyone say hi.
Hi.
I've seen Godless Scummer around on several channels.
Hi, Godless Scummer.
He says, for £5, Ken's doctoral thesis is published in a scientific journal known as WikiLeaks.
Not to be confused with Godly Scummer?
Yes, but we gotta let me finish the super chat, James.
Accent on the leak.
But yeah, his thesis is published in the scientific journal known as WikiLeaks. Yeah, that's true. That's where I got my copy.
Oh, and Zach Brannigan, he just asked about SpongeBob. He did bring that up one time. Yeah, he said, "You imagine SpongeBob style."
Yeah, I think one thing I think is that Kent is less likely to bring up SpongeBob during a debate than he is on his whack and atheist thing. So,
right.
But I think that people are expecting him to be more active with the SpongeBob thing because Nathan Thompson has picked up his SpongeBob thing and is starting to use it in debates in a way that makes him just look like, and by him I mean Nathan Thompson, it makes him look like both an idiot and just an absolute ass. I don't know why he does it.
He's very stupid. That's why he does it. I mean, if you're stupid enough to record yourself harassing school children at recess, you got to be pretty stupid. But hey, guys, I'm gonna run now.
No.
Oh, Ben,
Bent,
before you go, I have to say we have to figure out. I have to say we have to figure out what we're doing in a month's time, because you know what happens a month from now.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, we got to do something for the Dapper Dino birthday stream. We got to have something.
I do.
Shit! Yeah, there's gonna be one of those, isn't there?
Yeah,
There will be.
there will be.
And I think Dapper has an Amazon wish list.
Oh,
Maybe
look.
we get one of the candles from Kent.
Oh yeah, he'll send me an Ultra Boy candle. But so the thing is, like, okay, who am I going to spend my birthday with except for my amazing audience, right?
Right.
So because you guys are awesome, and we can from all over the world we can hang out. So I have trouble imagining a better birthday celebration than having some kind of thing that we all do together. So if you have suggestions, let me know. Put them in comments, whatever. I'll be brainstorming that. And we have a $2 super chat from Terry James who says, Kent and SFT are ruining SpongeBob. Oh, yeah, it's sad, isn't it? But all right, Ben.
Bye, everyone. David, slay that giant.
Bye, Ben.
That was my first super chat.
I got to pass on too. Bye-bye. See y'all again.
See ya.
All right.
See RJ.
Bye,
Good luck
RJ.
with, Paralogs.
All right. So, oh, wow, we dropped down to only 3. And actually, we're probably not going to be on that much longer. We've been on for an hour and a half or so. So, and it's really nice to see a lot of new names in the chat. That's one of the things I like about these.
I like seeing that too, dude.
Yeah, it's one of the nice things about doing the after shows for these, because I've done a few now, and it's always great because, I think I have pretty good panels. I have a really nice chat. My regulars on chat are amazing. I can't say that often enough. You guys really are great. And it's always nice to have, new faces chatting and introducing themselves to myself, my chat, my guests. I mean, David, you yourself, you said you see my debate, but for all I know, you saw it on Ken's Hoven channel. For all you might not have ever seen any of my other videos. So, which is perfectly fine, by the way. It's not like I'm some kind of giant YouTuber who everyone should, kowtow to. I've got what 13 or 3K subscribers, so
I have
small fish.
0.
Well, but how long have you been putting up videos?
Never.
Well, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Well, that seems about accurate.
Yep. Generally speaking, no videos equals no subscribers. But hey, I mean, if you want to start, I'm sure that I will link some people. I'll tweet out some videos. I'll mention stuff. I can let people know to head over there. In fact, actually, one of my subscribers, The Walking Fish, I recently tweeted about his first video, and so it's I don't know. I mean, it's not like you're getting a huge boost from me, but. And we have for $2 from Timothy Foster, who says, thanks for hosting the after show, Dapper. And you know what? Thank you for coming. It's been a lot of fun. I really like doing these. But actually, I think we are going to start wrapping up. For one thing, this room I'm in is becoming extremely warm because I live in the middle of the desert.
Oh,
and
wow.
even at night, it gets warm because I can't run my AC because it's too loud. So,
Desert pals, high five.
Seriously. So I am going to do some channel news that we've already gone over some of it, but whatever. And then I'm going to get last words from TD Lane first, and then David. And then I think that is going to be it for us. It's a bit of a shorter after show. Sometimes these go really long, but look, I need to get some sleep. It's hot in here. We got to get going. All right. So channel news. Let's see. So if you missed it today, I premiered the next update for my Speculative Evolution project, which is a collaborative, community-driven speculative evolution project. So if you want to see all the cool little critters that we've added there, that is on my channel. Check that out. Let's see. Nothing tomorrow, but Saturday, as I've said, we're going to be doing another episode of Touring a Creationist Museum with Eric and Erica. So, and Josiah Henson says for $2, I am actually a pheasant, so we are related. Well, that's awesome. Nice to meet you, cousin. So let's see. That's Saturday. Tuesday, right now, unless something happens, the chances are that it will be Kent with Bent 26, the one that almost didn't happen. Ever.
Period.
Yes. So actually, I think there's an ellipsis. So I'm not sure though. I had to double check. But anyway, so that should be that. Thursday, I'm not sure. It'll just depend on what I get done, basically, between now and then. It might be the last episode of Noah Zookeeper. It might be. I have a few projects that I have scripted, but I haven't recorded. I might get one of those in there. Yeah, and Saturday is also kind of sort of up in the air, but there is content. So even if I do nothing, there will be stuff for Thursday and Saturday and Tuesday and the Tuesday after. So yeah, do not worry. There's going to be plenty of Dapper Dino content. Also, I will probably once again stream games after Kent with Bent. I didn't do it this week because Kent with Bent didn't happen. Instead, we had a rather late stream with Landon Kurt Knoll. So if you want to hear us talk about the things that sci-fi has got wrong or right, then go check that out. That's, again, on the channel. So in case you don't know, Landon Kurt Knoll is a semi-retired planetary scientist. So he discovered a brand new way for finding Mersenne primes when he was like 22. I mean, he's a very smart fellow. So check that out. But yeah, TD Lane, what do you got?
Well, I've been working on my next video just in the script writing phase currently, and research as well, as I found it's actually a bit easier when I'm doing with the tech papers to do it ongoing, concordantly on the topics I'm doing there, which is either going to be next week or the week after. So if I have it done next week, it will be on Sunday at 10 a.m.
Okay. And David, what do you got for us?
Oh, yeah, this is like the first YouTube thing like I've ever done.
You're famous now.
I'm sorry?
You're famous now.
I know, right? A celebrity. Yeah, I guess, maybe I think I might like make a I might do what Aaron did to some extent. Like I might make some make like a response video to some of the things that Kent said that I didn't really get to address or didn't address very well.
Okay.
Like with the trees, for example, or something like that, So I think I might do that. So
all right. Well, if you do, make sure you let me know, and I will make sure to. I'll put it in my Twitter. I'll put it on the channel's Facebook page. I'll put it in the community, and I'll at least on the next stream that I do, I'll mention it. So it'll at least get you a little few extra views. I can't do a whole lot, but I'll do what I can because I think it would be an interesting video. All right. Well, that is.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I mean, look, I don't feel like this is like it's a competition, right? Like I tell everyone who's subscribed to me to do things like, hey, if you're not subscribed to Erica's channel, Got Sick Gibbon, go subscribe. And I do collaborations with people, and I feel like there's a lot of people that if you're interested in topics like these, you should be following a lot of them because we all have things to say, and we all have different areas that we're strong in, and we can complement each other and stuff like that. And plus, at least in the instance of Erica's channel, if you're not subscribed there but you're subscribed to me, you're missing like at least 20% of the things that I do on YouTube at this point, because I'm on Erica's channel a lot and she's here a lot. So but yeah, I like to think that it's more of a collaborative than a competitive arrangement. So it's called community. Yeah, I guess it's a community there, Stripper Liquor. Yeah, I mean it's a loose community in the sense that we don't all live in a particular place and people can come and go as they like. But Vandelli 1998 asks Kakarot if you have a channel. I mean, technically you do because you have a YouTube username, but I don't think you have content on it. Do you?
I have nothing there. Okay. Nothing there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, and I suspect that somebody might complain about my name because it's like a character name, so I might have to change it.
Maybe, but when I was searching for your channel, just in case I could get your email that way, like 100 other people with the same channel name came up. So it doesn't seem like they're getting taken down.
Right.
But it also might be that you might get a little bit buried under the flood of other people with the same channel name.
Definitely, especially with content, you know.
Well, another thing you can do is you can just put up a different channel and use this one that you're using now as just, you know, your personal watching YouTube channel, and then have that as your actual, like, this is where I'm uploading. Because I actually have a YouTube channel whose name I don't give out, that I use for a lot of my personal YouTube viewing, or if I want to go and talk about something as not the Dapper Dinosaur, not as my public persona, because I try to keep... There are a lot of things about me that I don't go on about on the channel because it's not on topic. So, yeah. But anyway, I think that is it for us tonight. Thank you, everyone who was here. A special thank you to everyone who super chatted, including Anamorphic Mind, Jerry Hotep, Vandali1998, Ian Chen, Terry James, Mothra J, Disco, John Rapp, and Godless Scummer. Thank you very much, everyone. It's really appreciated. It does actually help the channel. Yeah, and stay tuned. And if you have suggestions for the birthday stream, let me know. Bye, everybody.
Bye.